in the backseat of the truck. Let's go somewhere so we can fuck. Got a ballistic and a bottle of that whiskey. Trying to get my dick kicky. You can do what you want, bitch. Please don't kiss me. Or she can get risky. I don't mean to be picky. I just need me a quick. All she wanna do is fish me. Like an ice cream cone, she wanna lick me. So just give
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Two Dumb Yinzers. This is episode 146. This is, Mike, the best Friday of the year, if you will. This is the last. Yesterday actually started the weekend, so basically there's going to be football all the way till mid-February, and I couldn't be more excited. How you doing, brother?
Oh, I am jazzed. I am pumped. I am excited.
Absolutely.
Oh, I can't wait.
Did you catch any of the game last night? The Buffalo Bills down in Inglewood, California against the Rams.
I caught highlights in.
Okay. It was sloppy. I mean, it was a good game. There was 7 turnovers.
Wow.
Turnovers.
I saw the one
by the Rams.
Yeah.
2 interceptions by Buffalo and then 2 fumbles by Buffalo. So, I mean, hearing this, you would have thought it was a sloppy game. I mean, it was a good game, somewhat sloppy, but the Buffalo Bills win. They win. They beat the Rams to open up the season, which was my prediction. I expected the Buffalo Bills to win, and they did. They won 31-10, Mike. Josh Allen's a monster, man.
He is.
If you had any doubt about this guy, I think last night erases all of it.
Like I did, like when he was coming out of college, he came out of the smaller school, the subdivision school. So anytime like a quarterback comes out of there that gets hyped up, and you're kind of like, Then like that first year, he wasn't that good, and then he's just gotten better year after year after year. And
absolutely,
you see that this dude's a beast, and I have no problem saying I was wrong and thinking that he was not going to be that good. And this guy's turned it into. He's like a younger, like how Big Ben was at this time in his career.
Yeah.
Big guy, hard to bring down. I think he's more mobile than Ben was at the time.
Absolutely.
But he's big guy, hard to bring down, can make all the throws. Fun player to watch. And that Buffalo's team is just fun to watch. They've been building this team for a while now.
What I really was impressed with, Mike, and maybe it's just because we have so much bad offensive line here, was the front line and the blocking of the Buffalo Bills. Now, they do plays. Like I said, you got to really see this blocking. It's really impressive. Yeah. They use their backs. They use motion. They have a really good game plan. And what they do was they would have, somebody going in motion, and then they would, Allen would snap the ball, fake like he's going that way, like, and the running backs would follow, and the whole entire defense would follow because that's where the play went. And all of a sudden, a hole on the left side would be open because everyone would move, and Josh Allen would just take off. He would take off through that hole. I've seen it about a half dozen times. It's very effective. I mean, once teams pick up on it and defend against it, it'll be different. But they used that play so many times last night. I don't know how many rushing yards he had. He had 297 passing, but he had to have a grip of rushing yards. And like I said, anytime that Buffalo would run the ball, which they're not great in that area. I mean, Singletary's their back. He's not, anything spectacular. But if you would watch this line and their blocking schemes, very impressive. Very, very impressive. And even with a defense like the Rams have, and they're stacked. Their defense is stacked.
Yeah, their defense is.
They just couldn't stop what Buffalo was doing. And it was very impressive. Again, probably because of our situation in Pittsburgh is why I paid so much attention to it. But it was pretty obvious. Like I said, their blocking was impressive.
Like Josh Allen had 10 carries, 56 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then everyone else had like Singletary 8 for 48, and then after that, 15 and 2 for the other running back. So 121 yards rushing. Josh Allen had the majority of it.
They're not
almost the majority of it.
They don't use, they don't have Lamar Jackson, but the way they game plan and the way they block, they use Josh Allen just as effectively as the Ravens use the Jackson. The one thing is, the difference you see is Allen's not going to be able to turn it from 0 to 60 and gain 40 yards on a run. However, what they do is it's really working for them.
It is. I'm sorry. My phone dinged in. Usually at this time, it's something going on with my child, but no.
Yeah.
So sorry about that. But no, yeah, like you were saying, he they use him kind of like Lamar Jackson, but like you're saying, Lamar can take it, all the way down the field. But Allen's the more accurate passer, so you get that nice little. They get the trade off there. They get the improved passing, but the less running. But he's still an effective runner, and still, I mean, if he plays like this all year, he wouldn't surprise me if Allen is talked about in the MVP candidate.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if this team has the kind of year that they're expecting up in Buffalo. I think that he's an automatic candidate for sure. And
Yes.
like I said, that Rams defense, I mean, they got stars on every layer. You have Aaron Donald on your line. You have Bobby Wagner in your linebacking core, Jalen Ramsey, and then a bunch of damn good players that fill in around them. And like I said, I predicted Buffalo. I thought because of the Rams defense, it could go either way. But it was the Josh Allen effect. And even on that running touchdown that he had, it was like the most athletic, it was really athletic. He got to like the 1 yard line and the guy was tackling him and he reached his hand across the goal line from about 2 yards out to score the touchdown. And very, very impressed with what Buffalo's doing. I would be very surprised if they don't win that division this year. I mean, you never know with New England. You hear that Miami's doing some stuff, and of course the Jets. But I would, if I was a gambling man, I'd put my money on Buffalo.
Me too. Like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if it's the team that comes out of the AFC. They were so close a year ago.
Yeah.
They won over more or less a coin toss away from winning, because in that game it was going to be whoever won the coin toss was going to win. So I'm not surprised they came out and played the way they did. I'm very surprised the way LA came out and played. I'm looking at Stafford's stat line: 29 of 41, 240, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. That's even when he was in Detroit, I'd never seen him put up like that bad of a game.
Yeah.
So, and like everyone on this team was bad. Everyone except Cooper Kupp. He started out right where he left off. 13 for $128 and that 1 touchdown. I was very disappointed in Allen Robinson. Only 1 catch for 12 yards. I thought him coming into this offense would just been putting up big numbers because he did it in Chicago. And I was hoping he'd do better here. But from what I heard and what I read, like the Rams offensive line was bad, because that Buffalo defense, from what I heard, was just swarming them all night long.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good for the Rams. Of course, you score 10 points. That's 2.5 points a quarter. You look at it that way, and you score 2.5 points a quarter, you're not going to win many football games. But, in their defense, Buffalo does play a tough defense. And I was never too overly impressed with this Rams offense, even when they were winning the Super Bowl. I'm still not sold. I'm still not sold on the whole Stafford thing. Yes, he came in, got the job done, but you know what? So did Flacco, so did Trent Dilfer, so did Brad Johnson, so did Jim McMahon. There's just guys that come in and they do just enough. And I thought that was kind of what Stafford was. Whether he proved me wrong late in the year with how he performed, or I that's up for debate. But I was just never really thrilled with the Stafford thing, and I don't think they're going to be repeating. I don't think this team is going to be a repeating Super Bowl champion. I think watch the teams out of the AFC, your Cincinnati, your Buffalo, your Kansas City. I mean, that's where the power is right now in the NFL, with the exception of a couple teams, maybe in the NFC. But I would not look for the Rams to repeat if I was from California, Los Angeles.
See, I was not a real big fan of Stafford, or thought he was that good when he was up in Detroit. But last year, I did the opposite. Last year, to me, I was very impressed the way he played, and even into the Super Bowl, just the way they played, just how effortless they looked on offense. But the guy for Philadelphia that beat the Patriots a few years back, Nick Foles.
See, the sun even shines on a dog's ass someday. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I'm at with Stafford until he could prove me wrong from this point out. if he could take this team and return to the Super Bowl, if he could win back to back, if he impresses me from here on out, because he hadn't impressed me much before, then all of a sudden he wins a Super Bowl. But like I said, so did Nick Foles. So let's see what the Rams can do this year. They're off to a 0-1 start.
They did give up. Oh, real quick though, talking about that offensive line, they gave up 7 sacks.
Yeah,
that's insane. That's not good.
Yeah.
So of course, your skill position players are not going to look good.
Excuse me, real quick. Couple things before we continue on. Of course, the big news, I want to touch it just because it's big news. The Queen died. This is the first time in our life that we have been alive without the Queen, and we're welcoming the King. You know what? Whoever the hell's on TV crying about this garbage, they're way out of control. Especially if you're here in America, because you don't cry when your presidents die. Yeah, you know what I mean? The people that cry for the Queen, that's a little too much for me. But King Charles III finally gets his first job at 73 years old.
Yeah, not bad work if you can get it.
Yeah, right.
But I should have the audio queued up from yesterday's show. When we were playing Are They Dead or Alive? He's like, don't worry, I'm not going to say the Queen. And I'm like, yeah. What did I say? Something along the lines of, she's going to live forever.
Yeah.
And then a few hours later, boom, dead.
See, I was really upset with how yesterday went. I was upset, Mike. I got off the air and I really sat back and I thought to myself, why didn't we take her in the death pool? Why?
Because we thought her and Keith Richards were going to live forever. It was going to be the battle between those two.
And who's performing the halftime show last night at the football game?
Ozzy.
My pick. He's performing on the day that the woman I should have picked died.
Yes.
Fucker.
Right. But it was great that all the in America and a bunch of other countries, people are like, oh no, the Queen died. Oh no, she's so sad. Irish Twitter was going ham.
You said the Irish Twitter.
Irish Twitter, because it's still a separated country. Northern Ireland is still under British. I think yes, they're still under British rule. And well, they don't like that. And so anytime someone bad happens to the royal family, they love it, and they were eating this up.
Okay.
Because we don't have the whole perspective of her reign and everything. So what bad things happen under during the time that she was the crown, and they really don't have that lot of power, but you still have sway. You could say, hey, let's kind of influence the government, kind of let things slide. And so rightfully so, I think people were oh hell no. Just because someone dies doesn't mean you only have to focus on the good. You're allowed to focus on the bad, and that's what they chose to do. And I think that was their right. And they lived under these systems, not me. So anyone who's judging the people for saying how they felt, well, fuck you. That's how they felt. They're allowed to say it.
Well, the Irish, I don't have enough time for the Irish. Okay,
I love the Irish.
Well,
let's just move on.
Okay. So tonight, guys, everybody who cares? The Pirates, now their season is officially over because football season started. They do, in fact, still have games, believe it or not. The Pirates tonight face the Cardinals, who come to town for the weekend in a 3-game series. Game time tonight is 6:35. One shimmer of light from that whole thing is David Bednar, the closer for the Pirates, he was nominated for the Robert Clemente Award.
Roberto.
What's that?
He said Robert Clemente.
Yeah, Robert Clemente. And of course,
that's his American cousin.
Yes, and that of course is for a sportsmanship type thing. So, good for David Bednar. Now, Mike.
Clemente. The greatest pirate of all time. Can't even say his name right.
That means hush up, you.
Did I just get a red card? Did I get red carded? Am I off the show? Can I leave?
Did. You got your red card. Now you can shut up. All right. So, Mike, we have lots of great stuff going on here. We have, of course, the Steelers at the Bengals. This week, Sunday, 1:00, game one for both of the teams. Bengals coming out red hot off of their Super Bowl appearance, wearing their new uniforms. I think they have the same uniforms, but it's the new helmets.
Helmet.
That's the big thing. So they're super excited over there. They can't wait. They can't wait to get their hands on the Steelers. Now the Steelers are 6.5 point underdogs, right?
Underdogs.
And then they got a 44.5 point under over, which for people who gamble, that's cool, good for you. But I think 6.5 is really conservative considering the issues that we do have and considering the momentum that they are carrying. Now you figure that the line that we had back in 05-06, it was the worst line in football where we was able to win the Super Bowl. I think that's bullshit because this line here is the worst line I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah, and now if I don't know if you saw, but Chooks Okorafor, he wasn't at the last practice. He has a back issue.
Yes.
And yeah, he's your starting right tackle. And say what you will about him, at least he's your starting right tackle. You know, he is serviceable. But then after that, you get to the guy we just traded for that gave up 8 sacks that got to a hurt. So, and then the backup after him is another person you really never heard of who's bounced around the league. So it's not looking good at the tackle position. But if Chooks can't play, this line that's already suspect is already not even suspect. No, it's just bad. It's gone from bad to worse. And we haven't even made it to the flipping coin toss yet. This is where it's going. And yeah, it's not looking pretty for this O-line already.
Out of 104 games against the Bengals, the Steelers won 67. The Bengals won 37. The temperature at game time is going to be 74 degrees.
Oh, that's good.
Humid
That's good.
and mostly cloudy at Paycor Stadium.
There's going to be a lot of cramps in that game.
Yes.
Because it's a lot cooler than everyone thinks it's going to be with the humidity. Yeah, people will be cramping up.
The Steelers just announced today they will be wearing a number 3 on the back of their helmet, like we were saying earlier on, for Dwayne Haskins.
Yes.
Who unfortunately died over the offseason. And like Mike was saying, a couple of the other Steelers that are on the injury list, Deontay Johnson, Marcus Allen, Cam Hayward, and of course Okafor. So those are some some things I think we have to wait till game day to find out.
Did Cam hurt his fingers from tweeting? My man's always on Twitter. Of course, that means I'm always on Twitter if I know he's always on Twitter.
But I guess one of the big storylines in this is the trash talk from last season when Tyler Boyd made the comment after the game that the Steelers, that team just gave up, is what he said.
Yeah.
They just gave up. I hardly think that that's trash talk because it was true.
Yeah.
We was getting murdered and the game was out of hand. And, of course, we didn't try to win all the way through the buzzer when you're down X amount. So to use that as a storyline, I think that's more media. Tyler Boyd didn't say anything wrong. I would say the same thing right here on our show. I would say the Steelers gave up because they did.
They did. And if you look at that, we lost 24-10, then 41-10.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing good out of any of those games. It's bad. I mean, it was bad. It was terrible. We gave up those late touchdowns at the end of the half, and then at the beginning of the half, they scored points. This defense fell apart. It was a shit show. It was. Let's see here. I'm looking. Cam Hayward, 5 tackles, no tackles for loss, 0 sacks. He didn't show up. TJ Watt was hurt that game in the first game. He didn't do nothing.
Well, if the defense doesn't show up tomorrow, this game is going to be 50-3. I'm going to tell you exactly how it's going to go down. We have to keep up with that offense. Let that sink in for a second. The offense that we have with the porous line that we have, the perforated line that we have, the line that has no ability to block anyone, we have to keep up with an offense that could score pretty fast and pretty often. Now, that makes the most, and obviously the intriguing matchups would be the Steelers defense against the Bengals offense. That's going to be where the game is decided. If the Steelers are able to get in there, keep Burrow to 3 and outs, maybe cause a couple turnovers, a pick, a fumble. They got to keep it ugly. This team is not going to go toe for toe with the Bengals. They're not going to beat them in a shootout. They have to go out and say, we have to make this game as rough, ugly. And you know what? If you're a fan and you're thinking, well, that's not football, it's bullshit, because what did the Bengals do to us? Whenever they started getting good 10 years ago, whatever, it was nasty. They came to town. They wanted to come to town. They wanted to get under our skin. They wanted to make it dirty. They wanted to make it nasty. And it almost worked for them. But we're almost going to have to take that same approach, because going pound for pound with this team, offense against their offense, it's not going to happen. We have to keep up with them. They go down the field, score the first time. We have a 3 and out. They go down the field and score a second time. We get down and kick a field goal, 14-3, end of the first quarter. That's not good. You can't move forward in the game feeling positive about yourself, because you can't move the ball enough to get in the end zone, and you can't stop or keep up with the Bengals. So this is exactly what's going to happen. They're going to score a bunch. We're going to have 3 and outs. We're probably going to lose this game by about 20 points. That's my opinion. If I'm wrong, great. I'll take that. But I just from observing what I've seen the past couple seasons and what's going on with these two teams, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. In that second meeting, Joe Mixon had 28 carries for 165 yards.
Yes, he did.
And in that game, TJ Watt, Defensive Player of the Year, 2 tackles. Two.
But everybody else has to show up too. The story is always gonna have the best game ever.
But still, you're making 167 or like 200 some $1 million.
Say this particular game he didn't, but you know what? Look at his numbers collectively. He did put up the numbers.
But you have to produce.
Can't be the best guy in every single time you're on that field. You just can't. You're out there with great athletes.
Sidney Crosby, Mario Lemieux.
They're not great every time they go out there, because guess what? Crosby lost to many of people.
He lost many of them, but he was still, like, the effort was there and the production was there. Like TJ Watt, you're making that much money. You have to have more than 2.
That's unfair.
He doesn't score every game, but he does stuff to help win. 2 tackles does nothing for you. At least Cam Hayward showed up in that second game and had 8 tackles and a sack. Like,
I don't know. I think that's really picking, just because you have so many things going on, so many things that weren't great.
They ran the ball 28 times, and you couldn't get your hand in there more than twice.
And nobody else could either. I mean, they obviously had a good.
Minka had a lot of tackles. Minka had 9 tackles coming up from the safety position, because that D line and linebacking core.
That's how you have to attack that whenever they block.
Because he ran downfield so far that the safeties had to come and get the tackles because the front 7 sucked.
That's what you do with your defense. Yes, if you bring up your strong. Couple other things. We also have, Mike. We have 3 games this weekend. I have so much. I don't even know if we're gonna have enough time for all this. Let me jump back to a couple things Pittsburgh Steelers related before I move on.
Okay.
Acrisure Stadium is ranked the worst stadium name in the NFL. The Acrisure Stadium is ranked the worst stadium name in the NFL, which is crazy to me. They're all kind of dumb nowadays.
That's recency bias and pandering to a vocal fan base.
Absolutely.
That's what that is. That's all it is.
I think that Paycor Stadium, where we're going this weekend to play,
stupid name
in Western Ohio, is just as stupid.
Paycor. And
I think all these cities that have these company names like they do nowadays, because it's all about the money, I think they all sound stupid as well. How you could make Acrisure the worst.
And then, like, whatever the Broncos Stadium is, blah blah blah, at Mile High. You're just that does not flow off the tongue. You're adding something in there to make it seem better. No, because we want it to be named Mile High, but we can't, so we got to add it in. Shut up. Move on. Quit being babies.
Absolutely.
If you wanted to stay, like Mile High, don't look for corporate sponsorship.
Iron City Beer is putting out commemorative Bill Cowher cans. They're going to have different cans commemorating Bill Cowher's career, his championship run, everything that he did. So if you like beer and you like Coach Cowher, those cans are out there.
My boss showed me that today. I'm like, that is the most Pittsburgh thing I've seen in my life.
Yes. Also, the USS Pittsburgh, the ship, the vessel is being constructed right now, Mike. The USS Pittsburgh. It's the 5th ship to bear our name, and it is under construction right now. It's going to be a big old ship, man. USS Pittsburgh.
All right. I like it. I like it. I'm trying to think of something funny to say about that ship, but I got nothing right now.
The last of my babble conversation, Madden 23. Madden 23 simulates and predicts what the teams are going to do this year, what their records are going to be, who's going to win games, who's going to win playoff games, who's going to win a championship. And the AFC North looks a little bit like this, according to Madden 23. The Baltimore Ravens are going to finish in first place with a 12-5 record. Second place is the Bengals, right behind them with 11-6. The Browns 10-7, and finally the Steelers 6-11. 6-11. I think we're going to do a little bit better than that. And you know what? 10-7 for Cleveland. I think they're going to do worse than that. But the two up top, I think it is going to be a 2-horse race between the Bengals and the Ravens. Hate to say it. Every Sunday I wake up, I feel that we are in it. But looking at it from overall right now, they have Baltimore 12-5 and Cincinnati 11-6, and that is via Madden 23. So how much ever stock you want to put in that? Go ahead and do that.
You know what? It's kind of about right with the Steelers. They can anywhere from I'm going like 9-6, 6-10 to 9-8 in that area. Sounds about right for this team.
I think they'll do a little bit better than the 6 wins. I think they won't. I think they'll probably get about 8 wins this year. If I don't know. It just you know what? It can't be as horrible as I'm thinking it's going to be. Can it? Can it be that bad with this offensive line? Can things really go through the course of a season with the line being just so bad? I mean, they would have to improve at some point. You would think, right?
You would think. We thought that last year. Like the only one who really improved last year, like Dan Moore improved last year. He did pretty well, being that rookie mid-round pick. But he regressed in the offseason, and no one else has really stepped up.
I just don't know if I could do a whole nother 17 games of the dink and dunk. I don't know if I could do it. They got to figure something out. You guys are pros. These coaches are pros. The owners are pros. Figure something out.
No,
please.
This fan base that couldn't wait to get rid of Ben is now going to realize, like, oh shit, this is probably why we threw short all the time.
The whole entire generation that grew up and knew nothing but Ben might have said, you know what, he's getting, kind of old. He's kind of at the end of his career. Let's get rid of him and bring somebody else in. Those people don't remember the dog days between Terry Bradshaw and Ben Roethlisberger. You are now going to feel. You were going to feel what it's like to not have a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, it's good. We say this kind of like we were saying the Queen would never die. Now watch this offensive line and the quarterbacks ball out this year.
Dude, I hope.
I'll take it. I will take it. I have no problem saying I'm wrong as long as my team wins.
Quick around the horn. Let's go around positions. Receivers, they're ready. I think the receivers are ready.
Yes.
If you have a line to block for your quarterback, I think the receivers have a big day. I say the receivers' day is average tomorrow. Running the ball, again, with the line.
It all comes back to the line.
Offensive line.
But I am comfortable, like, real quick, circle back to our wide receiver depth, like Claypool said, he's like, that position is deep. So if one goes down, we're ready to keep rocking and rolling. And he was like asked about Deontay's injury. He said he's great, but hey, we're deep and we can roll. I agree with that. Receiving core, I have no issue with. Running back, kind of like the same way.
I'm happy with all the skill players.
Me too.
Yeah, but they're not going to be able to do what they do unless you have somebody blocking.
Yeah, like who was it? You said a couple pundits were saying like Najee might lead the league in rushing yards. He might have to carry the ball 800 times to get to where he needs to be because that line is so bad. His average is going to be shit.
Tight ends might get decent numbers because that's what you're going to be able to do. You should be able to find your tight ends.
You should
with the line that we have. I think that you have to just go all out. If you're going to run the ball, you got to be like Buffalo did last night, involve your tight ends, involve your other running backs. That's only, here's the thing. If you could block us, or if you could apply enough pressure, the Bengals, I mean, with 4 guys, and you have 7 guys to step back in coverage, we're in big trouble.
Yeah. And
we have to be able to block 4 guys first. If we can block 4 guys, that will obviously start sending more, which will play in our favor, but you have to choose your evil.
Yeah.
More guys coming at you, less people covering, or less people coming at you, more people covering. With this line, it's a tough call. But
it's good.
All the way, the skill players all the way down to the quarterback, I'm happy with at this point.
Yeah.
I think that we said it before, the pieces are in place for everybody except for that line. So, they had 2 weeks. Hopefully they figured a strategy out to be able to move the ball a little bit.
Something. This chop block all game long. Just block everyone above their knees, Eventually someone will get hurt,
Over to defense. On defense, I think that we're ready. The defensive line, I think that they're looking good. You got your big horses up front there. Linebackers, I'm excited to watch the linebacker play. I can't wait to see Malik Reed. Malik Reed is getting a lot of attention right now. I'm very excited about him. And then back to your secondary, I have no complaints there. So I think defensively is going to have to be our strong point. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope we come out tomorrow, Sunday, and they say, they come out with a great game plan. We keep the game close. I don't want any of this bullshit. All right, it was a good game. We lost, but it was a good. Let's play football. You know what I mean? Let's play Steeler football.
Steeler football, whatever it takes to win.
Yes. We will grab your balls if we have to.
And it's 2022, so we don't judge.
That's right.
And hey, that's it. Look, we learned yesterday that could be a fetish site.
Yes. And Mike is obviously referring back to our guest yesterday, who was a great time, Miss Pandora.
But that same thing with the offense goes to the defense too. Is that line, because last year we saw the line. Once that line starts to get pushed around, then your linebackers start to get pushed around, and that's when the issues occur. So if you can get like 1 or 2 guys on that D line to occupy 2 blockers, and that's going to free up your linebackers, and it's going to make everyone's job that much easier. So hopefully, with Cam's always going to draw double teams for the most part. Even though last year, remember watching him getting blocked 30 yards downfield by 1 guy on the Bengals. But hopefully that changes this time around. And him, Ogunjobi, and Alualu, those 3 can just be stalwarts and just eat up blocks, and let those linebackers fly around and do what they do.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to take. And I'm slowly talking. All offseason, I've been slowly talking myself into this D line, and I know I'm going to be disappointed. I just know it. I just know it's going to come back and bite me in the ass. But I am. I have faith in this D line. Screwed. I can't believe.
It's going to be all right, man.
I don't know.
We have to go out there and be physical with them guys.
Yeah.
If we go out there and let them push us around and let them dictate the way the game's going to be played, it's going to be over real fast.
Oh, yeah.
The defense has to go out there. They have to make their presence known early. And you know what? And covering those 3 receivers, if Joe Burrows can get that ball out fast, it's going to – you know what? This is the first ever between all these meetings, 104 meetings, that the Steelers and the Bengals opened up their season against one another.
No
I
way.
would sure like it for not to be a blowout in favor of the Bengals. Go out there, play Steeler football. The thing, we're 99% a good team, and it's just that 1% really is what's holding us back. So, like I said, they had 2 weeks. Tomlin's a good coach. A lot of people were saying this is going to be his first losing season. I don't think so. I think that we're going to get either. We can't do 500 anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
I think we'll get just over 500.
I've been saying like 8, 9 and 8 all year, somewhere in there. So it's not going to surprise me, but just that, oh God, if he does have his first losing season, that this town, they're going to be wanting him gone. and they're going to forget that Cowher had 3 in a row.
They're going to walk.
And
They're
that
going
led
to
us.
walk down. They're going to walk down Forbes Avenue with Tomlin's head on a plate like St. John.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the extreme that it goes to.
Yeah.
Which I hope isn't the case. I think we're better than that. We have a weak link. With everything else we have, we should be better than 500, in my opinion. We're not a bad team by any means.
Yeah.
We just have a big problem. So, and you have 17 games to figure it out. And, fortunately we play some bad teams. So hopefully, I think we'll get slightly past 500, hopefully more. Mike, I want to do something here real quick before we move on. College, we got Pitt. We have Pitt at home against Tennessee. Number 17 Pitt, number 24 Tennessee. I don't want to go too far into it analytically because we got the pros to get back to. Give me your prediction for the Pitt Tennessee game. Just educated guess. Give me a hypothesis.
Let's go Pitt. Both defenses have really been playing well. So let's go Pitt 35, Tennessee 28.
35-28. And then Penn State at Auburn, which is also at the same time on Saturday, 3:30 out in Auburn. What is your prediction for Penn State at Auburn?
Let's go Penn State 28, Auburn 30.
Okay.
I think Penn State's just going to fall just ahead of Jordan. Yeah.
Tell you what, you got to like what JPZ Jr. is doing over there, though, huh?
I do. Well, I'm just our quarterback. I'm not sold on.
It's that same guy, isn't it? That what's his name?
Clifford.
Clifford.
Yeah, my
Was he
man's
there
been there.
last year?
No, okay. He's been. Yeah, I think this is his 5th year.
Okay.
My man's working on his doctorate.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, He's on the Kenny Pickett plan.
Hey, maybe he could be the first quarterback taken next year, huh?
Oh no, it's gonna be Ohio State's quarterback, the one that we should have drafted this year coming up because we're gonna suck. Could have got an offensive lineman this year. Could have had one last year.
Goes bad this year, maybe we'll get a high offensive lineman.
Then we'll get one who has like injury problems that we think will miraculously heal himself. Or we'll get a project at like 8th overall.
I think you got to get a center. You got to get an anchor. You got to get that guy.
Don't get me started on that. Creed fucking Humphreys down at. No, I'm not getting started on because we took Freiermuth when we should have taken the center.
I mean, you figure you had Webster in the 70s into the 80s. You had Dawson, the 80s and the 90s. You had Pouncey. We've always had a solid anchor. I said you got to go out and get the best center next year in the first round and build around that. Then hit the free agency market, pay a couple of these guys some money to bring them in. You have to have a line. You don't hear their name a lot on TV, but that's a good thing for anybody that don't know football. The more you hear an offensive lineman's name, the chances are the game's not going as well because they're usually getting penalties against them. They're getting, beat on. So I say, no matter what happens, you have to get an anchor. You have to get an anchor. You have to get an anchor and then start building your line. Let's hope this year isn't that bad. But you know what? If it is, we have to act accordingly and get that line built. That's no question, right?
No. Because that offensive line is just it's terrible. We haven't had 1st-round draft picks since DeCastro. I mean, to use a 2nd-round pick on anyone. Last year, we used the 3rd on Kendrick Green, and he's human turnstile. We tried to move him to guard and his natural position, thinking, okay, he's going back to where he's playing. He doesn't have to worry about the snap, and he's
no good there.
You just fire off and be aggressive. He can't even do that right.
Kind of long for those days of Villanueva, Castro, and
Pouncey. Not Villanueva. He was overrated.
He was a beast, man. Backside. You want a guy that's
he was a human turnstile. He was a human turnstile too. He got beat a lot.
You want a guy 6'9" watching your backside. All the great left tackles through history, they were all very, very big men.
Big and talented. This guy was not. He was a bum.
He wasn't bad.
terrible situational awareness. Oh, I got lost. I got lost. Where's the flag? Oh, I got lost. Fuck him. That piece of
You with these.
fuck him. Fuck him. He's the
You're
worst.
just mad
Him,
because he
him
stood
and
for the Pledge
Ramon
of Allegiance
Foster.
one
Him and
time.
Ramon Foster should have been the two that got, let go. Not Le'Veon Bell and
Who was the guy, Mike?
Najee.
Who was the guard?
No.
About 10 years ago, he would always get in fights with people. He was kind of a loose cannon. You remember what I'm talking about? He wasn't around too long, but he was around long enough, and he would get into situations out there, and he would, he would be the guy
remember
to take the cheap shot after the whistle.
I can't remember.
Can't remember what his name was.
Oh,
I'll remember till tonight.
Yeah.
After the show is well over.
Oh yeah. I got nothing. Other than Ramon Foster's a bad union brother. Fuck him too.
All right, so there you have that now, Mike.
Oh, you froze. Sweet. Oh, damn it, you're back. Oh no, we have no volume for Ryan. He can't. I can't hear him. So I can just sit here and talk shit on every Steeler player that I want to.
Through the NFL
he's back.
This weekend, and we're gonna just start doing some predictions. Okay.
Oh shit! Predictions. I'm fucked.
No, I think you're gonna do good.
All right.
All right. So the first game, Mike, that we're going to talk about is the Eagles and the Lions. The Eagles at the Lions.
I am taking the Eagles.
You taking the Eagles?
I'm taking the Eagles.
The Eagles are certainly improved, but I am going to go with the Lions, Mike. This is their year. Trox, a friend of ours, a host for a show from, he's up in Michigan. He's a Lions fan. I'm going to trust in Trox this time. I'll take the Lions. You take the Eagles.
You never know. Dan Campbell up there spouting off his nonsense might just fire these boys up to, get the win.
I think Philadelphia's going to be pretty good this year. I just think they made a lot of improvements in some areas, and they weren't bad. So I think that the Lions are probably going to lose, but I am going to take them. Next game, 49ers at Bears. 49ers at the Bears, Mike.
I'm going to go with the Bears.
You're going with the Bears.
I'm going to go with the Bears. I think Justin Fields is just going to – he's a little bit better than Trey Lance. Trey Lance does not look good during the preseason, whatever, and he's – does not seem like the answer, but they want him to be the answer. I'm just going to go with the Bears.
All right.
I think either of these teams are not that good. So, but I'm just going to say the Bears.
I think the Bears are going to put up a fight. It's at home. I overall am going to take the 49ers, though. So Mike has the Bears. I got San Francisco. Next game. New England Patriots at Miami Dolphins. New England Patriots at Miami Dolphins. Now that's interesting because this Bill Belichick coach team, you never know what you're going to get. The guy can game plan. The guy could do some. He's a hell of a coach. We know that. And the Dolphins, they're improving. They go out, they pick up the likes of Tyreek Hill. They make some. Had a pretty decent draft, and a lot of people were expecting a much improved Dolphins team. However, I'm going to go with New England. I think New England's going to beat Miami down in Miami.
So I'm going to go with the Dolphins. Battle of Tua versus Mac Jones. I think the Dolphins pull it out. Patriots don't even know who their offensive coordinator is right now. They have two of them. No one knows who's calling the plays. So I'm just going to go with the Dolphins. They seem to be the more stable of the two teams right now, which is a fucking weird ass thing to say.
Yeah. And I'm sure it'll be hot down there. Maybe they could get that to work in their favor, right?
Yeah, and I think they're just Miami's going to be all fired up, just to try and turn over a new leaf here and see what they can do.
Here's a game, Mike, that's it's a bit intriguing to us as AFC North fans. This next one, we have the Browns going down to Carolina with Baker Mayfield playing against the team that decided, you know what, we're ultimately going to go with Jacoby Brissett until we can get our quarterback back, and the guy who's an able hand in Baker Mayfield, and you know what, in my opinion, a pretty damn good quarterback at home with his new team against the Browns, who's got Brissett. I got to go with Carolina. There's no way I would ever take the Browns in this game. Carolina's my squad.
I want to go Carolina.
Okay.
I want to. But I just have this sneaking suspicion somehow the Browns are going to pull it out. I don't know how accurate it is, but I saw like Christian McCaffrey popped up on an injury report. I don't know how severe it is or anything like that. I didn't look into it. I saw his name, like, oh shit. I just think the Browns might pull one off here.
I think Baker's he's
I
gonna
want Baker to. I want them to. I just have a feeling that the Browns.
I think Baker's gonna light it up for about 287 yards, give or take, maybe a couple of touchdowns.
I can see that, but I'm taking the Browns in this one. I don't want to. I just have that thing in the back of my head.
Okay. It's a pimple. If you would pop it, it would be gone, but
no, it's gone.
Okay. So we got next. We have Indianapolis. We got the Colts going down to Houston to play the Texans. This is a game that I can really give shit less about. I don't really ever care about the AFC South ever. For the sake of making a pick, I'm going to say the Colts are going to win.
Me too. I'm going with the Colts. I'm going by Jonathan. Let Jonathan Taylor run all over him.
The Saints go to Atlanta. That should be a good NFC South game. The Saints and the Falcons. I think the Falcons are pretty much depleted from anything that they've done in the past. And everything is gone. Everybody's gone. They do have a new tight end who's really good, but besides for that, I'm gonna have to go with the Saints.
I'm going with the Saints too. Jameis Winston. I think he's gonna light it up.
Now this one here is a fun one for me. I think this game is going to be fun. I think the only reason that it's going to be won by the team that I'm saying it's going to be won by is because of one player. And of course, the game I'm talking about is the Ravens. It's going to play the Jets up there in what's that called? MetLife Stadium?
MetLife. Yep, MetLife.
They're up at MetLife, and I think the Jets are much improved. Not to the point where they're competing with Buffalo for the AFC East, but they made a bunch of moves in this offseason. They drafted decent. They went out and got free agents. I like the Jets, however. There's always the Lamar Jackson effect. I've only seen one team that's been able to stop him consistently, and they wear black and gold. For that reason and that reason only, I say Baltimore wins.
I'm going with Baltimore as well. My main reason is because the Jets are starting Joe Flacco. The corpse of Joe Flacco is out there starting against Baltimore.
So you got the guy that won you a Super Bowl playing against a guy that you want to win you a Super Bowl. I think that's intriguing as well.
Super Bowl MVP versus league MVP.
Yeah.
And
which one deserved it and one didn't, but that's just my one man's opinion.
Yeah, because Flacco did nothing in that Super Bowl to impress me.
The Jaguars are going to travel. They're going to travel up to play the team formerly known as the Redskins.
Commanders.
I like Jacksonville in this game. I don't really know about a lot of what Washington has going on. Like pretty much everybody from that NFC East. I don't, I mean, what do you really know what the Giants are doing? You really know what the Washington, you don't know. So I'm gonna go with Jacksonville because of Trevor Lawrence. And I feel that he's good enough himself to probably have a better game than Washington, and I'm going to take Jacksonville.
I'm taking Jacksonville just for the simple fact that when I was writing down the games, when I circled the Ravens to win, I circled down to the next line and I wrote the Jacksonville Jaguars first, and I don't feel like changing anything. So I'm going. That's the omen that the Jags are going to win. Is that I did not have to circle them separately.
Okay.
this kind of expert analysis you get here at the Two Dumb Ninjas.
That's weird and douchey, but we'll take it.
Hey, that's like filling out your NCAA tournament bracket. And, the office secretary doesn't pay attention to anything. Goes, I'm just gonna pick the mascots that look cool and they win the tournament. Yeah. That's my philosophy on this gambling here. I'm just the idiot who made a circle too big. They win.
But ain't it crazy? The people that don't know basketball that usually use these odd techniques are the ones that seem to do really well in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it's bullcrap.
Next game, Mike. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are traveling to Minnesota to play the Vikings. Minnesota got a couple things going on up there, but I don't think they're beating Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Not this time, at least. I'm taking Green Bay.
I'm taking the Vikings and everyone's dark horse candidate for MVP. Who the hell's their quarterback for the Vikings? Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I've seen him a lot as people's dark horse candidate for MVP.
I seen one person. They had, it was Jackson, it was Allen, it was so and so, and there was one guy I seen that had Kirk Cousins, and I thought that he was on heavy drugs. But you know what? Yeah. I guess that somebody could assume that he might have a better season than all these good quarterbacks, so that's fine.
He plays that safe conservative game and gets puts up monster numbers.
All right.
He doesn't impress me. He's like Alex Smith was at the end of his career.
Yeah.
We're just gonna play high percentage passes and get yardage and touchdowns. Really do anything.
That is the first of the 425 games. The Packers and Vikings, the previous 9 games, give or take, they were all 1:00 starts. So now we're in the afternoon, Western type games. Next team, Mike, we have the Giants. The Giants going against Tennessee in Tennessee. Again, I know very little about the Giants. I know they have a running back who should be really good out of Penn State, but he unfortunately got stuck on a team
that sucks.
That sucks. Titans, they got an all right team. They got a good running back as well down there. I'm going to go with Mike Vrabel and the Titans in this one.
I am too. I'm going to Tennessee, King Henry, and career renaissance. Blake Bortles is our quarterback. No, Tannehill. Excuse me. He just ever since he went down there, I mean, his career's taken off, and
definitely got a lot better for him. Yeah,
it has, and Tennessee's in a different class than the Giants right now.
I got 2 425 games left. I got a Sunday night and a Monday night. Are you ready, Mike? You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. The next game is the Raiders at the Chargers. The Raiders at the Chargers. Who do you got? I have, you know what? A lot of talk about this Charger team, their quarterback. A lot of people are thinking that they're going to do great things.
Yep.
The Raiders are a team that, they're a player or two away from having a damn decent team down there.
Got Devontae Adams. Yeah.
I find this game hard to predict. I'm going to go with the Chargers in this game.
Me too. I am taking them just for the home field advantage point.
Yeah,
it's really not that big of an advantage because it's.
I think it should be a good game. Yeah. If it's on, I'll watch the Raiders and Chargers. I think that's.
I think it's going to be a fun, exciting game.
Yes. Last 425 game of the week, Michael. We have the Chiefs at the Cardinals. Chiefs at the Cardinals. You really can't take away what the Chiefs got. I mean, yes, they lose a player here, a player there. However, they still have the core. Arizona, I think they started out undefeated. It was either last year or the year before. They have good things going on. This is another tough one for me to pick. However, I'm going to go with experience, pedigree. I got to go with the Chiefs in this game.
Me too. It's hard for me to bet against Pat Mahomes, and I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a smart move.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady and the Bucks versus Dak and the Cowboys. I'm gonna say Buccaneers win this one pretty easily. I'm not gonna say it's a blowout, but I say they win easily.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bucks as well. It's
you gotta
like I said, don't bet against Mahomes. Really, don't bet against Brady either. It's
right. You can't bet against the GOAT.
No.
And finally, the Monday Night Football game this week. I think that this one, Broncos at Seattle. I'm not a real big fan of either one of these teams. I know that you have the Russell Wilson thing going on. Your quarterback in Seattle used to be this man. Now he is the quarterback of the team that you're facing, almost like the Browns in Carolina. I think that makes for intriguing, interesting storylines. Overall, I don't really see Seattle doing too fantastic this year. And on the other side of the coin, I think the Broncos are middle of the pack kind of team as well, especially in that division. You have a lot going on down there in the West. Kansas City, San Diego, Las Vegas. Monday Night Football is probably one of the least interesting games for me in this week. However, you do have it's going to be the Russell Wilson Monday night game. You know that. That's going to be the talk. That's going to be the point of interest mainly. But when it comes down to football, at Seattle, I'm going to go Denver. I'm going to go Denver just because Russell Wilson's there, and it almost seems like it would be fitting for him to win this kind of game. I take Denver in this.
I'm taking Denver too. That Seattle team, really not that impressive in my eyes.
They're not.
They have some, like, they got some players here and there, but overall, I don't think they're that good. I don't think the Broncos are that good either.
Right.
But Russ coming back, I think they pull it out. But it would not surprise me if Geno Smith and the Seahawks stage an upset.
Geno Smith and DK Metcalf pull it off, huh?
I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm going with the Broncos.
I agree. You know what? And granted, it was the first game of the preseason. There was nothing about Seattle that really wowed me at any level, really, at any level. So, yeah, I'm going to stay safe with that. So, Mike, you have the Eagles over the Lions, the Bears over the 49ers, the Dolphins over the Patriots, Browns over Panthers. We both got the Colts over Houston. We both got the Saints over Atlanta. We both got the Ravens over the Jets. We both got the Jags over the Skins. You have Minnesota. I got the Packers.
Yep.
We both took the Titans over the Giants. We both took Chargers over the Raiders. We both took the Chiefs over the Cardinals. We both took the Bucks over the Cowboys. And finally, we both took the Broncos over Seattle. One game left. Mike, who is going to win the Steelers-Baltimore game?
Steelers-Bengals game?
Bengals game, I'm sorry.
The Cincinnati Bengals.
You got the Bengals in this one?
Yep.
Let me count real quick to see how many games that we actually are different, because I might have to go with the Steelers just to kind of keep it to where we can compete here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 5. We have 5 games where we pick different, and it will mess it up if I took the Steelers. So I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go Cincinnati also. So 5 of the games we picked different, so we will be able to have a winner between you and I there. So I got the Bengals as well. I think it's going to be bad. I think it's going to be ugly.
Yeah.
Do I think there's going to be strong points for Pittsburgh? Yes, but ultimately winning this game, I don't think that it's happening. Not this week. Not on 9/11 anyway. Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website, and then when you get done, we have I have a trivia for you, bud.
2WInjures.com. Head over there. Everything you need, 2WInjures. Links to Spotify, links to YouTube, links to the email, links to the merch store, all that fun stuff. Everything you need, 2WInjures.com.
Now, my trivia for today, I crafted it special for today. This is my how well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent trivia?
Okay.
This is a Cincinnati Bengals trivia question.
All right.
So here we go. Got your pencil? Here we go. Which of the following was the tallest wide receiver? I'm going to give you choices. Which of the following was the tallest receiver? Was it A, Chad Johnson? Was it B, Carl Pickens? Was it C, AJ Green? Or was it D, Chris Collinsworth? Again, which of these following receivers was the tallest? Chad Johnson, Carl Pickens, AJ Green, and Chris Collinsworth. Let me find my music. And go.
Oh, let's see. I remember watching Ocho Cinco play. Remember watching AJ Green play. I don't have any memories of the other two playing. Oh. If it was most annoying, it would definitely be Collinsworth.
All right, put down your pencils, contestants. The question of the day. It's our how well do you know your enemy question of the day. The Cincinnati Bengals, which of these following wide receivers was the tallest? A, Ocho Cinco. B, Carl Pickens. C, AJ Green. Or D, Chris Collinsworth. And who did you come up with, Mike?
I'm going to go with Collinsworth.
Chris Collinsworth is taller than Ocho, Pickens, Green, and that's your final answer?
My final answer. Final count.
Now I'm going to give you a little bit of information before I give you the answer. The tallest receiver in this group was 6'5". Okay?
Okay.
You want to stick with your answer?
I'll stick with my answer.
Okay. The answer for this is, which of the following was the tallest receiver for the Bengals? Ocho Cinco, Chad Johnson, of course, Carl Pickens, who played into the, I believe, the 90s into the 2000s, AJ Green, and of course, everybody knows Chris Collinsworth, unfortunately. And Mike chose Chris Collinsworth to be a 6'5" man who used to be a Bengals receiver and would tower over everybody else. And the answer, of course, is
We're waiting.
And for once in his life, Mike is no, I'm just kidding. He's right every once in a while, but he did get this one right. Chris Collinsworth was the tallest receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. He said he liked to use his size to his advantage, and whenever he would run routes and patterns, he was able to have that height over people and use that, which made him a pretty decent, pretty damn good wide receiver.
He put up pretty good numbers back in the day. Not gonna lie.
He did. So there you have it, Mike. You pulled it off. You got your points for today. But listen, everybody, this is big. This is football weekend. I don't know if you can tell, but me and Mike, we're excited. We're real excited. We have around here I pay attention to high school, so I have big games tonight there. Tomorrow we have Pitt versus Tennessee, huge game, 17 versus 24. You really, that's pretty good.
Yes.
And then also Penn State at Auburn. So you're gonna want to check them games out. And then on top of that, Sunday, it's all out. Let it loose. It's NFL time. Steelers at Bengals, 1 o'clock. Not going to want to miss that. Make sure you get your terrible towel out. The team needs you. Mike, do you have anything before we take off for the weekend, man?
Let's go Steelers. That's all I got. Let's go Steelers.
Absolutely. And because Mike and I chose the Bengals, it isn't because that's what we want. I'm looking at it from a football, knowing football a little bit. I think that Cincinnati's probably going to win. I, of course, will be rooting for Pittsburgh the whole entire time. No two ways about it. I'll be twirling my towel. I'll be
twirling my tassels. Let's go.
Yeah, Mike will have his tassels on going. Maybe we'll call Miss Pandora. We call Miss Pandora. We'll get her tassels, and you both can have terrible tassels. And every time the Steelers do something,
this is just my gimmick. My gimmick.
All
no one
right.
else.
What? All right, damn you. But hey, we do want to thank everybody for watching all week. Thank you so much. It's always greatly appreciated, and we urge you to continue to do so. We are on Monday through Friday every day from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., so please continue to check us out. And you know what, everybody, just go out, enjoy this weekend, stay safe. Don't do anything stupid. Don't, get behind a wheel drunk. Just go out, enjoy football. It's finally here, and it ain't going nowhere until February. So, hey, let's go Steelers. Everybody have a